It's rolling. Hi, everybody. Susie Ritz here from sunny South Florida. This video is actually going to be about short-term goal writing. The first two in the series was more about, well, the first one was everything shoved together, and I thought that I would go into more detail with the last three so you can kind of understand like a step by step what you should be doing so you can write this out instead of something a little less vague. And the second one was about long term. This is actually the third video, and what we're going to be talking about is your short term goals. And they're basically what you need to get to accomplish your long term ones. You got that? Yeah. Now, what we're going to be using to do this is actually called S.M.A.R.T. Um, it's an abbreviation of a specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Now, most things that you'll be seeing online or anywhere else will be talking about all these encompass in one way or another. Specific, maybe they'll use detail or whatever it is, but this is pretty much a system that is used when you're writing your goal, which turns your goals and turning them into an action plan. Now, we're actually going to start with being specific. Now, when I say be specific, who's going to be involved? Who are you going to have to talk to get to where you need to go? Because, I mean, you can't be successful without other people. It's just not possible. I mean, whatever you do involves somebody else because, you know, that's how life works. Successful people obviously are people that help somebody in one way or another and and even that may be a leader in one way or another, like what are you doing to help them, or well, who do you need to be speaking to add on to your team, whatever. So who is involved in this whole process? Who's part of your team, who's part of your upline, who whatever it is, who do you see as someone you can follow that can teach you what you need to learn so you can be successful. Think about those things. So you want your who, um, you know, what do you want to accomplish, or what do you need to accomplish to get those goals, get your long-term goals done. Where do you want to do this? Do you want to focus on online marketing, which is awesome. It's a great way to get to people. Or do you want to focus on offline marketing? Are you better talking to people face to face? Maybe that's your thing. Do you want to focus on pay per click, or do you want to do more Facebook networking? Like there's so many different avenues you can take. But think about where do you want to start, and choose that whatever. But these are the specifics that you want to be thinking about, and you also want to think about when do you want to get these things done, at what time what month, and also why, like what are the benefits of you doing this for yourself. And the reason why I think this is important for you to write down is because you're going to need to remember why you're doing this because you're going to be spending some time talking to people and networking and maybe building your blog or doing whatever that time. That takes dedication, and it's really good to look back on why you're doing it to encourage you and reinforce you and help you stay dedicated and disciplined. Now, the next one is, in S.M.A.R.T. is measurable. You have to be able to measure how your process, and measure your progress. So, like if you want to post, say if you want to put like how many ads you want to put out there, or how much you want to spend for your budget, or how much can you. So you want to think about those things so you can actually mark down your progress as you get along, so you can actually see what you're accomplishing. Because if you're not keeping track of that stuff, you can't see yourself progressing, which kind of makes you feel like you're running in circles, and it might cause you to give up. Now, the next thing I want to speak about is the next letter is A, which is attainable. Now, what you need to, is this attainable? Is probably what you're thinking that means, but no, it's more talking about what do you need to do to make these goals attainable. Okay, now that may be your attitude, about life, your how you view things. It could be your abilities, your skills, your finances, what you know. Like, what do you need to do to make these goals attainable for you? Because you need to work on those things so that you can become a whole person. Not that you're any less of a person, but the kind of leader or the kind of network marketer or the kind of person you want to be, or to be the successful person that you envision in your head. Okay, so don't think that when you think of attainable, that means, oh well, I can't do that now, so these goals obviously aren't. No, everything is possible. So what do you need to be working on right now to make these goals possible? Now, the next part is R, which is realistic. And you're probably like, and I know like this comes into the fact if you wrote like $10 million, like, oh, that's not realistic. Now that just, again, reinforces the idea, like, when you say realistic it means that you're willing and able to work for what you want. And that's being realistic. Like, how much are you willing to do and how much work are you willing to do to make this real? Okay. And the next one that we'll talk about is the last one, which is T, and that is timely. And this whole thing needs to be grounded with a time frame. Now, saying sometime or whenever is just never going to happen. It's never going to happen. If you don't give yourself an allotted time on how much time you really need to do a certain task, to do a certain thing, you're just never going to accomplish it because you don't have a time span or a time limit or anything to actually look back on and say, okay, I was supposed to do it by this time. And also by doing that, you're also putting into your unconscious that, hey, this is what I need to be working towards, So by you because if you say you never give an actual time span, your unconscious is going to think, okay, I'm going to never have to do this. Okay? So you need to write down a time frame for all this stuff, all these skills, all this networking, all this stuff that you need to do. Write down a time frame. Okay? And I want you to be extremely detailed and also, yeah, short-term goals are very detailed. Extremely detailed, and because this will actually help you accomplish more in a smaller time frame than if you were vague. And I know this video was a little long, but this is why I had to break it down. So meet me on my next video, and then we're going to talk about piecing this all together. And of course, if you got any value out of this, please like, share, subscribe, all that stuff, and also put down your comments or anything that you would like for me to go into deeper explanation of. But of course, we're running about 8 minutes here or so I'm going to let this go. Because I know you guys are going to get tired of me talking, right? Love you guys. Bye.